Hello, I'm Shigeki Yamaguchi, Executive Vice President of NTT Data Corporation and also a CEO of NTT Data Institute of Management Consulting. We need to have customer value reinvention strategy which can provide new customer value by multiplying existing strengths and data, especially for existing companies to be successful with digital transformation. We have conducted lots of projects to support our clients to successfully transform their business by leveraging digital technologies. We are researching advanced digital transformation best practices over the world and trying to get insights and foresights from them. Because our mission is to support our client to become more successful through digital transformation by enhancing our knowledge and capabilities. In this situation, I came across an attractive book that systematically describes specific method to accelerate digital transformation. The author wrote in this book, digital transformation is a journey, not a fixed project. Funding is not limited to just the enabling technologies, the digital part, but also the human and organizational change, the transformation part. This book's title is Hacking Digital, which was published in August 2021. Today, I am so excited to have a discussion about the author of this book. The author is Dr. Michael Wade. He is a professor of innovation and strategy and director of the Global Center for Digital Business at IMD. Dr. Wade argues that digital transformation programs go through three natural phases: initiation, execution, and anchoring. Each phase has its own distinct challenges that business leaders will need to carefully navigate to succeed. Before diving into the main topic, let me introduce our digital transformation framework for comparison. The development of digital technologies is ongoing, and I have categorized these technologies into four categories: algorithm, connect, combat, and cognize. When these technologies combine, society and the economy inevitably have huge impact. The uniqueness of our framework lies in logically organizing what kind of strategy, organizational capability, and organizational structure is required based on the economic impact of digital. Let's start with the themes of hacking the external environment. I believe that the key to solving customers' real challenges is not just selling a company's product, but rather creating new customer experiences through collaboration with external partners. It is important not to be limited by the existing product or services of the company. In building an ecosystem, we face new challenges. How we identify and prioritize our partners among the large number of external players. How should we handle this challenge?
Almost all digital transformations require close collaboration with external partners, and that's not always easy. So there's a lot of issues that are now converging between digital and ethics and sustainability, and the question is, how do organizations deal with that? So there are a number of ways that digital technologies can be used to enable and accelerate responsibility, sustainability, and ethical objectives for organizations. And we'd like that to happen, but it can typically only happen if those two parts of the organization are linked. And that's why we suggest building some kind of a corporate digital responsibility office.
Let's move on to the second theme, the business model transition. Theme I would like to take up here is building a balanced portfolio of digital initiatives. I think it is a challenge point for business executives to align and prioritize multiple digital transformation initiatives. Let me share my thought on this. We believe that the ultimate goal of digital transformation initiatives can be broadly divided into two categories: customer value reinvention and value chain re-engineering. Additionally, building a system platform which enables business model transformation quickly is vital.
You know, we think of it in terms of a 2x2, where, you know, some elements of digital transformation are actually quite small. And the benefits, fundamentally, the benefits of digital tools and technologies are enabled by scale. So you really only get the true benefits when you scale across the organization and across the value chain. Yeah. And we also see on the x-axis, on the horizontal axis too, you know, when you're not just looking at a single process, but a suite of processes, not just a single product, but a brand new product service mix, it becomes a lot more complex. And then, of course, when you start moving into the top right hand quadrant, you're really looking at brand new ways to reconfigure customer relationships, as you mentioned, and also value chains. Yeah. And that's often where the biggest disruption comes, but it's also the one which is hardest to achieve. Maybe the biggest benefit, but also the biggest challenges. So a lot of organizations are stuck really focusing on the bottom left-hand quadrant. You know, that's where the technology department or the IT department can play a big role. But if you really want to make fundamental change through digital transformation, you have to look to change the organization. And that requires a much higher level of organizational change.
Next, let's move on to talking about the organization and leadership. To successfully guide digital transformations, leaders must effectively link traditional business organization with agile business organization. We need to consider the following 5 key points. First point, develop a common vision. Second point, link vision to individual activities. Third point, manage based on data. Fourth point, get in the habit of thinking. Fifth point, act responsibly for success. I found the following description in your book. The long-term challenge is to create a culture of self-directed learning. Digital leaders must also nurture a culture of lifelong learning. Our workforce that learns how to continually learn on its own. I totally agree on this idea. Dr. Wade, could you give us some feedback on how leadership management works?
The kind of traditional and emerging worlds, there are different styles of leadership that are required. And if we look at the traditional world, right, you know, it's kind of this constant idea, often, you know, very focused on perfection, you know, getting it right, trusting their intuition very, very strongly, trusting their gut, very good at telling people what to do, you know, understanding what's needed. Now we see, you know, leaders, you know, they'll trust the data, you know, as much or more than they trust their their intuition. They can tell, but they're also good at listening. They're really good listeners. They tend to be more comfortable sharing power, not just holding onto power. So there are times when the traditional style of leadership is still valid, and there's times when the emerging style of leadership is valid. And the challenge for leaders today in a digital age is to be able to do both. And shift between one and the other depending on the need and that moment, right? The context.
Next, based on the result of 2 surveys, I would like to discuss the futures and the challenges of digital transformation in Japanese companies. The first is IMD's annual digital competitiveness rankings. Japan's good items include the spread of broadband, the ratio of teachers to students, and the widespread use of robots. On the other hand, international experience, low digital technology skills, and the use of big data analytics are seen as challenges. In particular, the category of business agility was ranked very low at 62nd place, which I felt is a distinctive issue for Japanese companies.
What it takes to build business agility, we realize it actually comes down to 3 things. And the first thing is to be really good at seeing changes in the environment. We call this hyper awareness. But this is not enough. So you need to be aware, but then you need to do something with that information. So the second piece of the puzzle for business agility is something we call informed decision making. But again, that's not enough. You need to translate those decisions into some action at speed. And this is where many organizations struggle the most. So what we see is that the organizations need to build capabilities across each one of these areas. They need to build hyper awareness. They need to build informed decision making to translate that awareness into a decision. And they need to be able to move those decisions into the execution phase at speed. The Japanese economy is a strong economy. You have a great technology. You have a great education system. All the basics are there. The raw materials, the foundation is there. I think there are a few areas that need to be focused on and addressed, and these are not easy areas, but it's not a complete change that's required. It's just some really focused changes, around what we talked about: culture, processes, globalization, integration of new thinking, a few things. And then there's nothing stopping, Japanese organizations to really become very, very agile and successful in a volatile world that we're seeing.
So as you mentioned, we have strengths in manufacturing or high quality. And so I understand that we can change our organization and we have much power to succeed in digital transformation. Thank you.